I had quite long hair. My fringe was coming down. I was pulling it over to cover. I was fed up of putting so much product in my hair to get it perfect. But it got to the stage where I wouldn't sit next to my wife in the house in the evening to chill out without doing my hair. I had someone come up to me in the middle of the class and say, "Your hair looks like it's tattooed on." And I was like,
I've even had pictures of me, like bald me, and they've taken it, photoshopped it, so it looks like my hair's like this sort of weird, like got a grey tinge to it. And then they've said like, "Oh yeah, this is SMP." No joke. How's it going, everyone? And welcome back to another episode here at Baldcafe, a Baldcafe podcast, traditional. This is how the channel really grew, really started. And it's important to have these conversations. We got Chris on the channel here. He's joining us from Wales, 26. Chris, how's it going, man?
I'm good. Yeah, good. Glad to be here. Nervous, but yeah, I'm good.
Take me back, man. Take me back to when you first noticed that you were experiencing hair loss. You were balding.
I always thought I had a big forehead. I never thought of it as I was receding, I'm losing my hair. I never thought of it like that. I just thought I had a big forehead. And I was always I had quite long hair. My fringe was coming down. I was pulling it over to cover this part here. Never even thought about I'm losing my hair. I started working in a factory, and they are brutal places to work for. Banter, and banter goes too far, and I was having it every day about my forehead. I started thinking about it then, thinking, am I losing my hair? I was on holiday in 2016. I was fed up of putting so much product in my hair to get it perfect. And obviously I wanted to relax by the pool, but I wouldn't do anything without product in my hair.
Right.
So I shaved my head to a number 2.
Yeah.
I thought, this looks okay. After the holiday, I grew it back, didn't think about it. And then one of my dad's neighbours called me out on my hair and said, "You were losing your hair, you're thinning on the front." And I was like, oh God, like people are noticing. But it got to the stage where I wouldn't sit next to my wife in the house in the evening to chill out without doing my hair. So I'd have a shower, and I couldn't just have a shower then go and relax. I'd have to have a shower, go into the bedroom, dry my hair, style my hair, cover these parts, just to go and sit down before I go to bed.
And this is as it's developed, or is this back a while? This is as it progressed.
This was before I even realized I was going bald.
Okay, right.
I've always been really, really paranoid about my forehead.
Because you've been called out on it, right?
Yeah. And I've always had, my hair has always resembled straw. It's always been really fair and thin and straw-like. It's always been like it. And I just thought it was my hair.
Let's unpack the story just slightly. I mean, just go back to the factory days, right? And I think a lot of people work in those environments, all men working together, any sort of sign of a weakness and so for you, people were calling you out on your hair, right? So at this time, had you noticed that it was like more difficult to style, and was it receding? Was it just at the front? It was going back like this?
Not even all the front, just here.
Right, at that time,
Yeah, and that's when I had to start pulling my fringe over.
Right.
And it was taking me longer and longer and longer to style my hair. It wouldn't go the way I wanted, so I'd have to go and wash it again, dry it again, try it again.
Yeah.
And if it didn't go the way I wanted, I'd have to repeat the process. Even with quite a long fringe, you could still see a lot of forehead. So I was just getting called out on that.
Especially when it like clumps together, like you said. So you need it washed. You need it like what's the word I'm trying to look for? Like not fluff. Well, fluffy. You need it light
I had to mess it. Yeah.
Any like if it gets greasy or too much product, it will clump together, right? And it will. Yeah, dude, I totally get you there. You said later on, then you said it was a neighbor, sorry, or a family friend.
Yeah, my dad's neighbor. Yeah,
dad's neighbor. He called you out on it as well. So it progressed slightly at that point, and then you thought, wow, if these people are noticing as well, then it's getting bad. How old were you at that time? Can you remember?
I'd say 19.
19, right? So still young, 19. It's brilliant. Did you ask anyone for like any advice? Did you reach out to anyone? Did you speak to anyone about it at all? Did you?
No,
Nothing at all.
no one at all. Didn't mention it. Didn't talk about it.
But
Nothing.
when did it click that you finally thought, oh, maybe I'm actually losing my hair here, and that's why my forehead's, in a sense, getting the appearance is getting bigger?
I think when I started working in the barbershop, and obviously I'm seeing 14, 15 different heads a day. I'm seeing all different hairlines, different head shapes. I'm realizing then, no, mine doesn't look like most of these, because they're mostly youngsters, the ones I were cutting. They had hairlines were so perfect, and I was like, mine's not like that. And then I realized that, and I was like, oh no.
Yeah. And so that's interesting. That's when it clicked, when you really were in that world where you were kind of forced to like, right, okay, noticing it. These guys, mine's not like that. So have I got a big forehead, or is it something else? So did you notice anything else, like I don't know, the hair falling out in the shower or anything like that, or nothing like that?
No, nothing at all. Just because I was so paranoid about this section here. My boss in the barbershop, the one who does the SMP, at that time, he had a shaved head, he had SMP, and he had a beard. He looked amazing. I thought he looked so cool, and I wanted to be like that. So even then, I didn't even think I'm losing my hair. I never thought that until probably a few weeks back, when I tried growing my hair back out and realized how much has gone since I shaved it. So I'm really impulsive. If I think about doing something, I do with it. And then, like he said, he does SMP. So my hair come off and the needle was in, and I was having it.
Wow.
The mirrors in the barbershop, I was more paranoid about my whole appearance rather than my hair. I'm very much like that. I'm not confident in myself. So I wasn't focusing on one thing, my hair. I was focusing on everything I could see in a full length mirror. So I think like my weight and does my beard suit me, everything was on top of me rather than just my hair.
Is that something that's been always there, or was it just when you were doing this type of work in the barbershop?
Well, I suffer with mental health problems. I have a emotionally unstable personality disorder.
Yeah.
So I struggle with emotions and dealing with my emotions. So my emotions can be extremely heightened, whereas someone would be upset, I'd be off the scale. If someone's happy, I'd be overly happy.
Right.
My emotions are heightened and exaggerated.
Yeah.
So if I look in the mirror and I don't like what I see, then
you
I'm
really don't
disgusted
like
in myself. Yeah, I
Right.
really don't like it.
Yeah.
And then trying to work in a barbershop with mirrors and seeing myself all the time was difficult.
Because it's very much a world that it's an image focus environment, isn't it?
Yeah.
People are going there to get their cuts, to look their best. So it's very.
And another thing as well, it's like, as a customer, it might just be me, but go into a bald barber.
Right.
It's like would you go to a tattooist who doesn't have tattoos? Or do you know what I mean? Like, it's a weird way to think about it.
Yeah.
But why would someone trust me with their hair when I don't have any myself?
Is that something that you were worrying about as well, or thought about?
I did think about it. Yeah.
Let's touch on the SMP. So you're in this barbershop and your mate's done this course on the SMP. How do you get onto the conversation of, hey, let's do this? Did he suggest it, or did you say, you look cool, I kind of want to give that a go as well?
He used to cut my hair before I even thought about doing barbering. I said to him while I was having my hair cut, I think this is going a bit here. And he said, oh, well, I can fill those parts in for you. And that's how it came about. I just said, yeah, let's do it.
If you've still got hair, they can do what they call like density work, right? Where you got the hair and is that what they did first? Or did you literally just like shave it off?
Well, what I was worried about, I was worried that if I just had these parts filled in, so obviously the SMP here, and then a year or two down the line, I start losing more hair and I have to shave my hair off, then I'm just going to be left with the SMP here and bald everywhere else. So I thought, screw it, shaved it all off and had it from here to here.
Right. So you were sort of anticipating more hair loss, right? So you've got that sort of safety area done preemptively, right? Just in case, right? I get you. But and you said, you got the SMP done, you had the shave head, and you really liked that look. You said your mate looked really good. And how long did you have that look for? How long were you rocking that? And did that then? Did you feel then good then, or what was it like after you got it done?
Well, I had 3 sessions. The first one was just getting tiny dots here and there, get a base layer, and it looked good. In hindsight, I would have left it like that. I had a second session where you go in between the dots you've already got with a slightly darker shade.
Right.
And then, stupid me, I had a third session with even darker. And I'm so pale anyway. Like, if I had dark skin, and like people with dark skin are prone to having immaculate hairlines anyway, so it suits them. But I'm too white for that. I'm so pale. A crisp hairline, I guess, doesn't suit me.
Yeah.
And I think I had the corners, like where my corners would be probably here with my head shape. I had them too far in.
Right.
And I don't know if the needle went in too deep, but the corners were really dark and you could see the ink on the corners. And I was even more paranoid with that than I was with receding hair. Yeah.
So this is interesting. So I'm really thankful for you having this chat and being honest about this, because that is one thing that they always say. They say it's so difficult to say to clients, listen, like, we need to try, like, keep it natural looking, because if we take this too far, it's not gonna look good. It's probably exciting. You feel good. You think, that looks good. Like, I guess you just assume, like, if I get a bit more, less is more, I think less is more.
Yeah.
And you think, if I get that bit more, that'll look a bit better. But you said you just went a little bit too far, right?
Yeah, I did. And I think I was comparing myself to him as well. I loved the look. I was like, I want it, and I want it like that. But after I had it done, I loved it, and I did love it. But then when I was in college doing barbering, I had someone come up to me in the middle of the class and say, your hair looks like it's tattooed on. And I was like, it is. Like, what do you say to that? They called you out. I'm not going to lie. I was like, yeah, it is. And then he went and told someone else. And then I had other people coming up to me. That's tattooed on. It doesn't look like it's tattooed on. Then I'd have to explain. So the whole reason I had it was to cover the fact that I'm bald, but now everyone knows it's a tattoo, and now I've got to explain that.
Yeah, and in a sense, that's even worse, right?
Yeah, it is, exactly.
Sorry to cut you off, man. Carry on.
No, that's cool. And then the barber then who done it, who had this perfect SMP, and I looked up to, went to Turkey and had a hair transplant.
Really?
Yeah, so that really threw me. Like, I done it because I wanted to look that good, and then he's gone and changed it. So that did throw me.
Dude, I mean, I can't even imagine what it would feel like. Because, I said before we started, but one of my biggest fear was someone calling me out like, dude, like, why can't I see the hair, like, at the back of your head? Sorry, the hair. That's funny. Why can't I see your scalp, like, at the back of your head, through your hair? That was my biggest fear. And I can't even imagine what it was like then. Afterwards, were you thinking like, are people am I gonna get called out again, for it being a tattoo? Was that like, what sort of thoughts are going on after that?
After the third session, I was more worried about being called out on it, because I think it made it look like a tattoo. It was way too crisp, and it was too far down for me. And like I said, the corners I don't know if the corners were gone over more to try and make it more prominent.
The hairline,
the edges,
the sharp hairline,
yeah. And I don't know if you got any tattoo. Oh, you got tattoo on your back,
Yeah, got a few on my back.
Have you heard of Blowout?
You're saying where the ink sort of leaks out, or
Yeah,
yeah,
if the needle goes in too far, the ink can spread under the skin. I think that's exactly what happened on the corners.
right,
So when I had all these dots over here, I had kind of like like blowout on the corners, and it looked kind of like a blue tinge to it as well.
mm,
So I was really like, no one else called me out on it. I don't know if they did notice and were they didn't want to insult me, but I knew it was there. I was looking online how to get rid of tattoos, because that's essentially what it is. It's a tattoo. Um, and I didn't want to go for laser removal. So I was so desperate to get rid of these corners. I even went to the stage where I used something, like a chicken scratch, when you scratch your skin until it burns. I burnt my own head
wow,
for it to scar and heal. So I was hoping that it'd push the ink out and heal as new skin.
yeah.
I was that desperate because I was that paranoid about the corners.
Yeah, we should mention quickly. I think in terms of SMP, the moral of the story there is, I think, take less is more, and be not cautious. Well, yeah, be cautious on like
Yeah,
what
be cautious.
I feel for the guys who are really trying to keep the SMP industry like pure, genuine, and natural, if you like, the desired effect, because there's now so many other people that can. It seems to be very little regulation on them,
Yeah,
and I've heard all sorts about people faking, their before and afters on Instagram. Like they'll literally like shave a guy's head with like perfect hair and say that that's the SMP, you know.
yeah,
I've even had, dude, this is how crazy it is. I've even had pictures of me, like bald me, and they've taken it, photoshopped it, so it looks like my hair's like this sort of weird, like got a grey tinge to it. And then they've said like,
yeah.
oh yeah, this is SMP. No joke.
No way.
Yeah, it happened last year. I'll try and pull that picture up if I can find it. I think
That'd be awesome.
I think I had it as a post on Instagram. Someone tagged me in it. They were like, dude, if you had SMP, I was like, what the hell? And then I had to put like a side by side, and I was like, dude, this is so scammy. Like, please be careful.
Did it look good though?
No,
Did the
it didn't
pictures?
even, dude. It didn't even look good. If it had looked good, I would have said fair play. It didn't
Yeah.
even look good. I don't know what if they wouldn't get any business with that. It was awful. But yeah, I think moral of the story there, dude, if you're thinking about getting SMP, like make sure you take your time, do your research, and try not to be too like drawn in by those. Because I mean, if you've had like a real receded hairline for years, you're gonna want that hairline back, aren't you? That's gonna be a
Yeah,
focus.
exactly.
I just want that youthful, strong, sharp hairline that I haven't had for so many years. So you had the hairline, and obviously after that, you're like, okay, like I'm worrying now. I think it's not looking good. I don't feel comfortable with it. You didn't feel comfortable with it, right? So since then, you have actually had it lasered off. So tell me more about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, just to clarify, with just in case he does see it, he is really good at SMP.
Yeah,
The going darker and stuff was my decision, and
yeah, yeah,
it was my fault. But he is very good. But yeah, I think when I had it done, it was right. I'm gonna shave my head because I'm losing my hair. What can I do to make it not so bad? So it was a quick decision. If I lose my hair, I want the illusion that I got hair. So I could tell everyone it was my decision that I shaved my head. And then now I'm a bit older and wiser, I think. I don't know, I've come to the realization that it doesn't matter. My hair does not define me. Like back in the days, it was all about how you look. Like when you're a teenager, everything's about appearance. And because I was still young when I started losing it, and I got with my now wife when I was 18, and she got with me when I had this hair. It gets you thinking, like, does she like me now? Does she like me when I had hair? And it's just so much that comes into it. It's not just hair loss. It plays on you. You lose sleep over it, and yeah, you think you're going to lose people over it, and it gets to you, especially if, like me, you suffer with mental health problems anyway that no one knows about, no one can see, and then you've got people mentioning it. So yeah, now I'm older and realise it means nothing to me. It's easier if I don't have hair. I decided to have it lasered off.
Yeah. Do you think that there's quite a lot to touch on there, but do you think now with that outlook on it, when you said it's easier now just to have it lasered off, you're just totally you, because you're not trying to hide anything. You said like naturally, obviously you said you suffer from other sort of, mental health as well. And so not hiding, you've got nothing to hide. In my eyes, that fact that you're not hiding from anything, it's all out there. Exactly what you see is exactly what you get with the shaved head. There's nothing to fear, like in terms of people getting called out on anything, or because what is the worst that someone can do? They say you got a shaved head or you're bald.
Exactly, yeah.
And it's like, if you really think about it, that's just someone stating the obvious. There's nothing to fear in that aspect.
Exactly.
Do you think is that why you think now you come to that conclusion?
Yeah, I think
nothing to hide.
Exactly, yeah. There's nothing to hide now. Like you said, if someone what's someone going to say to me now? Like, whereas before, someone could say, "You're losing your hair, you're receding," and you get embarrassed. No one's going to come up to me now and go, "Oh, by the way, you're bald." I'm like, yeah, I know, thanks. I know.
I'm laughing because it seems so ridiculous,
but it's true. It's true, though,
yeah,
isn't it?
It just wouldn't happen, Or if it did, it would just be so ridiculous for someone to do that.
Yeah, but even now, they'll pick out a different insecurity, like your beard is patchy, your beard is stupid, or there's always going to be something that someone will pick up on anyway, just to make themselves feel better. So, like, why? We can't control it. You can't control hair loss. So why you worry about it? Why occupy your mind with something you can't change? Focus on that, something you can change, rather than something you can't.
Yeah, I like that.
Just rock it.
Definitely. And I think it's that accepting the situation and having it all out there, is where that sort of comfort comes from. You said a really, really interesting thing. Where did that shift come from? That mind shift came. What kind of made you start to think like that?
I think in my mind is when the mental health problems started coming to the surface. That's one less thing that I need to worry about. Like, everyone, not just me, everyone got stuff going on. So why worry about hair when I got so much more things to worry about? And I've got 2 young daughters. They don't need to see me worrying about something like appearance. I don't want them like growing up seeing me worried about how I look, and then me telling them off if they are worried about how they look. So I need to lead by example, be a role model, and I am what I am, the same as my kids.
Do you think also the obviously when you've got when you've got SMP and you've got the shaved head, the looks, in my opinion, are so similar. People do say like, oh, if you've got the hairline, it like frames your face more. And it's. Do you think that was like a necessary step for you in terms of like, you got obviously when you shaved it off and you had that general sort of I've got a shaved head appearance, growing comfortable with that, getting more comfortable aside from, okay, obviously the hairline and whatnot, but take that aside, obviously initially before the kind of, before that, you were comfortable with it, right? You felt good about it. You were out there, no hats, no need for different hairstyles, just out the shower, clothes on, we're done. Do you think that like helped you get more comfortable with the idea of being bald, and that was like a little stepping stone into just being fully bald?
Definite. If it wasn't for having the SMP initially, as soon as I shaved my head, I don't think I would have done it. And I done it at the perfect time because, like I said, I was only losing this little bit here. Then I had the SMP, so I was continuously shaving my head, and I haven't seen what my head is like since shaving it. And a couple of months back, 2 months, I decided, right, I want to try and grow it out. And I'm losing from here now, forward. So I done it at the perfect time, because it would have come to, I got to shave it anyway.
Yeah.
So
So
I done it at the perfect time.
it's interesting because obviously I think, you know, getting the SMP and obviously having it kind of lasered off a little bit is a bit more, I don't want to say it's extreme, but it's, you know, there's it's a process, right? But
Yeah.
I did a similar thing. I did a similar thing in the sense of I got like a way shorter haircut than I had before. So it was so close to just having a zero all over, but I didn't obviously just go straight for the zero. But then, like I said, I kind of grew comfortable like that for a few months, and I thought, well, look, I've gone from like a grade 3 to a 2. Like, am I going to go for 1, or shall I just do it now? And that really helped me. You know, I got so much respect for the guys who were just like 0. You know, the guys on channel that are just like,
Yeah,
done. It's like,
I know.
man, that takes.
I
So
watch
much.
them, I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
But every single one of them look so much better. They look amazing. Every one of them.
It's mad, right? It's like, especially the head shape is a big concern, and people, it's so cool that people now are in the comment section saying, why don't you show any, this is no joke, they're like, why don't you show any ugly people, you know, or why don't you show any people with the like really horrible shaped heads like I have? And there's every single person that's been on the channel that shared their story has emailed me, you know, to be like, hey, like, I'm thinking about doing this. I'd love to, you know, the other guys' stories help me. And I just kind of want to get involved and help inspire some other people. If it can help one person, that's what they always say, which is why I started the channel. If it can help one person, you know, then it's a good thing to do. And I've never done an interview with someone and been like, oh, sorry, mate, you look shit, so I can't, you know, do the video. They all look different, you know, and they all look brilliant after doing it, you know.
Yeah.
And so obviously it's a process, you know. It's not just shave it, you're done. There's all sorts of things that goes onto it, but that is an interesting thing, is they all just look good, you know.
They do, yeah.
It's a valid concern. Am I going to be the one, you know? And this is the thing. I think maybe I'll have to do a separate video on this. I wonder if people are looking at, you know, a bit like how you saw your friend, you know, oh, he looks good. I'll kind of want to have the same look, but am I going to look as good as him, or am I going to look worse? And I remember seeing another guy on YouTube, Max De Silva, and he looks so good, man, with his shaved head, his like epic beard. And I was like, damn, he looks so good, bald, like with that facial hair going on. And I was like, oh, I bet I'll look shit. I bet I won't look anything like that, you know? And
putting yourself down.
Yeah, we got to stop putting ourselves down and like having so much doubt. You know, just entertain the thought of, what if, like, why not? What if I look good as well? What if I do this and it looks awesome, you know? And it's an interesting point. And I think, I wonder if guys now watch the channel, some people, and they're like, oh, all these guys look so good. I bet I'm gonna be the one that looks terrible, you know, and it kind of stops them from going for it. But
yeah,
who knows, man? Who knows? Tell me a little bit about the like lasering process. How long ago did you have? That's not that long ago, because that was when we first like started talking properly.
Yeah,
2 months at most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had it done within a week of each other, or 2 weeks of each other. I just, like I said, I'm really impulsive. I said to my wife, I'm going to get it lasered off. I emailed the guy and went down and had it done there and then, straight away.
And then, was it a pretty painful process, or how was that?
It's different. It's one of those, you can put up with it because you want it done.
And how are you feeling now? Like, how, you know, since you've had it done, you know, how are you feeling in general with the whole, you know, the shaved head thing and hair loss for yourself in general? You said you had the confidence to kind of grow it out a bit, which that's another thing, you know. I think guys, I did the same thing, can get quite attached to keeping it super, you know, shaved, clean. They don't want any shadow, anything like that. And I think it's a healthy thing to do, to grow it out once in a while and just remember, like, yeah, dude, I'm kind of losing my hair here. It's normal, you know. I prefer the clean shaven look, like, you know, just like a little bit of a, I don't know how to describe that. Just keep it real with yourself, you know.
Yeah.
But you had the confidence to do that, which is a pretty big deal.
Yeah. I do the same now. I alternate between bicking it, shaving it all off, or I just take the top down with a detailers and then I bald the sides out just so it's stubble up here and bald here. I change it up as well now.
That's cool.
And when I decide to grow it out a week or two, and I say to my wife, I'm going to try and grow it out, but at least now I know I'm losing my hair. Whereas before I'd be like, oh God, am I losing it? But now if I grow it out, I know I'm losing it. So I can't get called out on it.
Yeah. Do you think that made you more comfortable with it as well?
Oh, definitely. I'm really comfortable with it. I prefer it now.
Just totally making peace with it, right?
Yeah. I think if you're losing your hair, you're meant to be bald. So this is what I'm meant to be like. When I had hair, that's what I was meant to be like.
I like that. And then just making peace with that fact, it just brings a lot of peace in general, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, it winds me up. Whoever decided that not having hair was a bad thing.
Yeah.
Why don't us lot now decide that having hair is a bad thing? And they are the odd ones out, not us.
Yeah, like you should lose your hair. There's so many, the percentages are so high. Like, oh, you're a man, you're not losing your hair. Like, that's weird. Like, oh, fair enough, but that's kind of strange, Last thing I want to ask you is your advice. You gave a good piece of advice then, but your journey, like through it all the different sort of experience you've had with it all, for the guys, who are watching this or listening to this, from your own like experience, are there any things, certain things that helped you more than others, or ways to kind of think about it that helped you feel better about it? Anything at all? Just advice in general that you've got at all? I know I'm putting you on the spot a little bit there, but
if I was to give advice, it would be you are not on your own. Like we talked about, everyone got insecurities. It can be anything. But if you are thinking about it, like, am I losing my hair? I might shave it. If you're thinking about it, it's bothering you, so just get rid of it. If you're thinking somewhere down the line you're going to do it now, and that's one less thing to worry about. It's gone. That worry is gone. And yeah, you haven't got to worry about it anymore. If I could get the time back that I spent doing my hair, covering up the bald patches and worrying about it, I'd have so much time to do something productive, and it's not worth worrying about.
The unfortunate thing is you almost have to come to that realization, when we come to that realization, we're just kicking ourselves for how much we were beating ourselves up over the hair and the hair falling out, and there's so many people that will be watching this that are beating themselves up about it now and really battling with it, inside, thinking, oh, why is this happening? This is, being pissed off with it and really just hating the situation. And I know it's going to be hard for people to hear guys like us say, like, honestly, it's not as bad as you think it's going to be, but it's such a key point. It really isn't, and luckily, however the journey pans out for people, it's all different. But I think just knowing that it's a possibility, like a genuine possibility, you can just be a bold dude and be perfectly happy, have a completely different perspective on a load of things in your life through the experience of that. I mean, you spoke earlier about with your daughters and things like that, you reflect on yourself or reflect on so many different things as a result of that journey of losing your hair. And that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing to happen with these things that make you stronger, make you more tough mentally, just give you a different outlook on things. And that's a good thing.
Exactly. And it is an experience. Like, instead of worrying about it, when you first shave it, you have an adrenaline rush because you've been worried about it so long. All that goes, you're full of adrenaline, you love it. So it is an experience, and why make it a bad one? Turn it into a positive. Like, you're going to look awesome. You're getting rid of all the worry. Definitely a journey.
I got to thank you so much for coming on and sharing your own one, man. I really, really appreciate it.